We've got the sun shining. It is an absolutely beautiful morning out there. Good morning. It is Wednesday, March 4th, Fly on the Wall Productions, bringing you the Aired Out podcast live on Facebook and YouTube. We are definitely streamed everywhere you get your podcasts. We appreciate your ears. If you're a listener only, that's pretty cool. AiredOutVT.com. That's kind of the central hub of where everything is. I hope wherever you are, you're off to a great start. Weather from NBC 5, 31 in Barrie right now. It is just a beautiful morning. I know we complain about the cold. I know we complain about the long winters up here in the North Country, but when you get outside on a morning like this, lower 30s with some fresh, fluffy white snow from the night before. Everything is just magical. It's sticking to the trees. It's just beautiful. It's beautiful. I know. It's not going to last. And for those of you that just hate the winter, embrace mornings like today. It is great to be alive. We're looking at a mix of sun and clouds and 47 degrees later today. 47. Tonight, 23 with clouds. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy and around 45. Friday, 36 with some morning snow showers. And then on Saturday, 51 with rain. Sunday, cloudy and 48 to finish up the weekend. Birthdays today. Brent Shuttleworth, very talented guy. Brittany Duffy, Dave Wilder, Cindy King, Rich Jacobs, Susan Ricard, Nancy Hickory, and Amy Ayers DeSorda. Happy birthday to each of you. A lot happening, a lot going on this morning. Today is Wednesday, and as you know, it's the day of the week when the World newspaper comes out, and I always look forward to getting my fresh copy right off the press that'll be delivered soon here to the studio. Deb Phillips is with us from The World. Good morning, Deb. How the heck are you?
Good morning, JD. Doing fine. Doing fine.
What's new with you? I missed you last week. What's happening?
Well, if everybody's getting a little bit of cabin fever these days, pick up a copy of The World. We have a full section of kids' summer camps, so we can plan for the best time of our year. We have the free Farmers Night concerts coming up. We have all the ones in March and April, because it ends in early April. And if your car needs a little TLC, we have money-saving coupons on oil changes, inspections, alignments for all those all those holes and frost heaves that we have.
Yeah.
And then we have our monthly reuse, recycle, and thrifting directory.
Wow. Boy, it was really nice to hear you say the word summer. I think you're the first person that I have heard say that word in a long time, Deb.
Yeah, well, it is the best time in Vermont, definitely.
And, as you let off, this is a perfect time of year to start planning for summer camps for our kids, because we all know they fill up fast and they're booked.
They do. They definitely do. And, and that planning ahead makes a big difference.
Huge difference. Thank you, Deb. We appreciate it. We'll look forward to getting the World today. Can't wait.
All right. Thanks, JD.
All right. And don't forget vt-world.com, as you can see right there on your screen. That's the website. If you want to check out the digital version, of course, sales at vt-world.com as well. If you want to do some advertising, or you can always give them a jingle at 479-2582. Deb Phillips, Central Vermont's favorite weekly newspaper, right there. It's The World. This guy, not only is he a handsome devil, but he has also become a great friend from Sweethearts and Heroes. My good buddy, Winton Buddington, who is with us this morning. Good morning, my friend. How are you? It is so nice to see you.
Good morning. I'm fantastic. It's great to be here. I appreciate you having me on today.
Listen, What I'm going to do is I'm going to call you because I'm having some sound issues here on my end. So, and it could be the whole Google Meet thing, which has been acting up lately. So I'm going to give Winton a call here and see if we can get a crystal clean version of his audio. And my understanding is that he is basking in the sunshine somewhere and warm and happy. And we'll see if we can find out exactly where that is as I give him a ring right now and see if he can answer. Winton Buddington. Such a cool name from Sweethearts and Heroes.
Good morning. Can we connected now?
There you are, buddy. Yeah.
Right.
You sound nice and clean. I think it was a Google Meet issue, but
Okay.
it's nice to be connected with you.
Yeah.
Where the heck are you, anyways, man?
Well, we had my wife and I had the opportunity to head a little bit south, so I'm calling in from Hilton Head, South Carolina this morning.
Ooh, man, that sounds nice. Give us the current temp.
Current temp is we're starting off the day at about 56. I think we're supposed to get up in the mid 60s. It's sunny. I get to wear shorts. Can't beat it.
Wow, and it's been cool down there.
Yeah, the people we've talked to said we picked a good week. They said it was even, last week they were in the 30s and 40s. So we timed it right, and it's just, it's like you were talking about with waking up and you're going to be in the 40s today. It's after being chilly for a while, even 40s. I mean, I grew up in Potsdam, New York, so the North Country winters are what I grew up, and I remember it gets into the 40s and you feel like it's shorts weather again. So
just breathe it in, man. Breathe in those temperatures. That's so cool, man. Listen, you have been so instrumental with Sweethearts and Heroes for how long? How long have you been the logistics and outreach director? Busy position.
Yeah, this is really in that role. This is really my second year in doing everything that I'm doing now. I mean, I've been connected with Tom and Rick since I first had them into my school, probably back in 2013 or so, and then had them in to present for about 7 years, and it just made such an impact on our climate and culture. Um, when I retired in June of 2022, Tom called me and said, "You want to come and join our team?" And I started just kind of helping out with some workshops and things, and it just evolved into the role I'm doing now as director of logistics, and kind of helping to coordinate the bookings and connections with schools and all of those pieces.
The thing about Tom, the thing about Rick is no matter what it is, no matter what your position is, even if it is a lot of it is behind a computer screen, if a lot of it is involving paperwork and phone calls and a lot of stuff off the stage, out of the direct heat of the spotlight, like Tom and Rick are so accustomed to. These guys want to make sure that every single member of the team is completely on board with and understanding of and embracing the messages behind your mission at Sweethearts and Heroes.
Yeah, and what I appreciate about working with everybody on the team is um, everything we do shares the same message. So whether it's Tom and Rick's presentation, whether it's Josiah or Pat being in the school, or Chad working with linemen, Leon's press releases, the publications we have, the different programs that we do besides the presentations, the message is consistent, and the goal is to really help schools and students, empower students, and help them make a difference and create the climate and culture for their communities. So.
I know we talk so much, and you and I have taken a few deep dives on these messages that are so geared for children, for students, for scholars, for administrators, aka teachers. But is there anyone that you can think of, Winton, that might be exempt from any of the messages that Sweethearts and Heroes is putting out?
No, because it really is. It's all about creating a caring culture.
Yeah.
I mean, the circle work we do is about building community, building those empathetic connections, and recognizing that the for students, recognizing the kid that is new to the school or the kid that you only see in school has things similar to you do.
Yeah.
And for adults, it's recognizing that your neighbor or the person at the stoplight next to you, they're dealing with the same things, and they've got a lot of things in common with you. They've got parents and grandparents, and they played with toys when they were kids, and there's not that much different between us. And the more that we recognize that is what builds and strengthens the community, when we recognize focusing on those similarities.
Even if they're driving like an ass, right?
Yep.
When you look across at that guy at the stoplight, maybe he's having a really bad day or a bad chapter in his life right now. And it is so easy. I just drove through Brooklyn. I admit I wasn't driving. Sherilyn was, which is even worse. But, I mean, there's the epitome of the example of, man, it is so easy, Winton, to get frustrated, ticked off at this guy, that guy, this truck driver. What are you thinking? What are you doing?
Yeah.
But we have to try to remember. And, man, it's like, my little girl in the back seat, just trying to tell her, look, that guy or that lady at the front desk of the hotel, no, they weren't very friendly. No, the customer service was not exceptional. But they're a human being, and maybe there's something going on that we don't know about that shows up on their face or out of their mouth or just in the energy or lack thereof that they exude.
Yeah. Yeah, and it can be, doesn't always have to be a big, huge problem for somebody. Sometimes people are just trying to find something in their life that they feel like they have control over.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's the steering wheel.
Yeah.
And that's the only time when they're driving their vehicle that they feel like they've got control over something in their lives. So
what do you say to anyone listening right now who is not familiar with one of several books that has come out of Sweethearts and Heroes, one of them being the 13 Pillows for Effective Teachers? If folks are not familiar with it, if they haven't picked it up, what say you?
So the 13 Pillows book, it's a fictional allegory. It's inspired by true stories of loss and hope that Tom picked up over his years of being in schools and meeting with people and so on, and put together in the story of a young educator who's navigating challenges of loss of a student. And the chapters are broken down. Each chapter is a pillow to become more affective, more caring, more beyond ourselves, so to speak.
Yeah.
And they We've done book studies with teachers with it. What we've got teachers, or our friend Heather up in Osable Valley is teaching the book to her students. We've had people just pick up and read the book. It's a great message for anybody. Um, and like the first chapter is real. It's titled, it's a marathon versus sprint, and that's what we're talking about. This cultivating your culture and caring. It's a marathon. It's not something you do once and it's done and you can check off the box. And one of the pieces I love in the first chapter is the pillow test, which is, when you end your day, ask yourself two questions. I'm glad I did, and I wish I had. And use that to guide you as you take the next step. But if you're running a marathon, it's pacing yourself and it's doing those little things over and over again to keep you moving in that positive direction.
This is something that is, frankly, not easy to do. This is something for many of us is easy to forget. We are so distracted, Winton, by so many things. When we get in bed at night and our head hits the pillow, we are running through what happened today, what was good, what was bad. And oh my God, I ran out of time today to do this or that. I better do it tomorrow. What about the next day? What about this weekend? What are our plans? We're still trying to put together logistically our lives and process the recent past, whether it was something that happened at the workplace or how we're going to respond to things tomorrow. But it's almost worth putting a sticky note on the wall that says,
yep. I'm glad I did. I wish I had.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm glad I did. I wish I had. And it could be something so small and simple. I'm glad that I smiled and got eye contact with that lady in the checkout line at the grocery store. That's it. Or I'm glad that I put the shopping cart away. Something simple. It doesn't have to be big. You don't have to draw it out for half an hour. But also, I wish I had. I wish I had said hello to that guy, that old man, whatever. I wish I had offered to help them cross the street, whatever it may be, and to think about that going forward. The Custodian Chronicles, though, what does that mean?
So the book starts, the key figure in the book is Bruce Breyer, a young educator, and he's about to resign because he lost a student, and he just feels he got into education to make boys into men as a PE teacher, and not really an affective person, and he's having trouble dealing with the loss of the student. And so he's reading over his resignation letter, and the custodian steps out of the corner of the gym and kind of mentors him throughout the book. So it's the Custodian Chronicles. Um, that's where the subtitle kind of comes from.
And pillows versus pillars. The obvious there is when your head hits the pillow.
Yeah, it's what do we lay down on at night? When we have that moment where the day is parting from us, what are we thinking? What are our thoughts, and how do we use those to guide us? Because that's really the time. We're so busy dealing with this and that throughout the day, running from one thing to another, when we really kind of can come back to, okay, what am I all about? What's really my core belief system? and how well did I live into that today? And that's connected. That's where the pillow test comes from.
Mm. Tell me about broken windows.
I look at the broken windows. It's really about cultivating our climate that we live in, and the broken windows theory. You know, it was a lot talked about in New York City when they were cleaning up the subways and things, and the crime went down, and that theory has kind of been uh, debunked a little bit by Malcolm Gladwell, talking about the impact of abortion
Mm.
and the decline in the population of males that was potentially committing those crimes
Yeah.
in New York City. So there's a corollary there. But I look at the broken windows part. It's the little things we do. It's those routines we build. It's the little things we do to cultivate our culture and our climate.
Mm.
And it's, if you take that coffee cup you've got this morning and it just goes in the sink, and tomorrow's coffee cup goes in the sink,
Mm.
and you don't wash them for a couple days, that that has an effect on the climate that you're living in, and it can have an effect on the climate for the people that you're living with. And so those little things, if you just wash out that coffee cup when you're done, that can make a big impact.
What about the? This is fascinating. Little things like that. I love that analogy. What about the butterfly effect? And I want to hear what you're saying about wilting flowers.
Yeah. So the butterfly effect is that there's a rip. The idea of it is a butterfly flaps its wings in China, and it affects things over in the United States because of wind patterns and weather and the ripple effect. And you throw a rock in the pond and it causes a ripple. Um, in my school, we had a teacher came up with the idea of ripple cards, and because our motto was take care of yourself, take care of others, and take care of Bay Trail, and we had little business cards printed up, and anytime a kid was doing something that was positive, teachers could just give the kid a card. So it was a quick, and then we had different activities and things that the students could turn in their ripple cards to participate in.
Hmm.
So it was just a way to kind of recognize those ripples when somebody drops their books in the hallway, somebody stops to pick them up. Hey, thanks. Here's a ripple card for that. And it's those, you know, that butterfly effect of just what you do affects other people. When you smile at that checkout girl in the cash register, that affects their day, and in a positive way. And so, recognizing that and keeping that in mind as you go throughout your day, you're not just going through this alone. You have that impact on others around you. And then the wilting flowers is, you know, others need care, and we need to be there and recognize that when and be aware when others are needing a little watering, a little bit of hope, a little bit of a caring message. And that might just be that girl at the checkout counter that you smiled and said hello to and had a quick conversation with. That might have changed their day because you saw them, you interacted with them. They weren't just somebody that you passed by.
Mm. This is such wonderful stuff. I mean, like we led off by saying, it doesn't matter if you're a young child or a student at a school or a teacher or the custodian or what have you.
Mhm.
This is all stuff that we all need, man. It doesn't matter who you are. What's the growth mindset? Man, I love your breakdown of stuff is fascinating, Winton. What's this all about?
So the growth mindset, there's research about, fixed mindsets versus growth mindsets. The idea of the fixed mindset is you're born with a certain amount of intelligence and skill, and that's it. And the growth mindset is that you can learn and grow and develop new knowledge, new skills, and you can change. And that's a key part of, you know, I've seen a number of students in school come in and they've got a fixed mindset. I'm not smart. I can't do math. I can't do this. I can't do that, because they've been told over and over again that they
Mm.
couldn't do that.
Yeah.
And the growth mindset is really adding just a couple simple words that says, I can't do that yet.
Right.
You know, I can work on that. You know, and and I think of it in my life just with, I'm trying to get myself back exercising and back in shape, and you know, I can't do that yet. I can't lift the weight I used to lift yet. I can't walk or run the distance I used to run yet, but I can get there because if I put in that little bit of work every day, that's going to help me get there.
Mm. The growing brain. Talk to me. What is this all about?
So there's fascinating brain research fascinates me, and a lot has come out in the last 20 years, really, with understanding how brains work and um, the the resiliency, and it's amazing. And just students' brains, especially, are are continuing to grow. I mean, when we talk about students, and you're looking at, I was a middle school principal, so a 12-year-old student, their brain is not fully developed yet.
Mm.
And if you have that perspective when working with that student, and they're doing something, your daughter does something that frustrates you, and you're like, why are you doing that? You could get upset because you're expecting them to be thinking about it the way you would, like an adult, but their brain's still growing. They're Why they're doing that is because they didn't think about it the way you did, because their brain is still growing and developing, and they haven't had all those experiences. And so it's it's understanding, especially as we're working with kids, that they're not adults. Their brain is continuing to grow and develop, and even as adults, our brain can continue to grow as we continue to learn new skills and challenge ourselves and have different experiences and taste new food, and all of that continues to affect our brain.
Mm. How long have you just tell us a little bit about your history? You've been an educator. You've been doing this for a long time.
Yeah, I started as a social studies teacher. Got my first job in 1990, teaching seventh grade and 10th grade social studies. And then pretty much in middle school, my whole career, that was about a half year doing the 10th grade. And then I was seventh or eighth grade social studies. I worked in a couple different school districts. In one district in Webster, New York, I taught. Uh, we had more kids than would fit on one team, so we created a half team. So I had the opportunity to. I had my elementary certification as well as my social studies, so was able to teach all the four core. I've taught English, math, science, and social studies in the middle school. Um, then I had an opportunity for about 3 years. I was an enrichment specialist in the middle school, helping teachers just challenge kids' thinking and getting them to really expand that. And the kids that were ready to take concepts and things and run with them, how we challenge them. And then moved into administration, and in 2004 got hired as an assistant principal, and then was in that role for 4 years, and then became building principal for the last 14 years before I retired.
How did Tom from Sweethearts and Heroes find you, or did you find him?
I first met Tom at New York State Middle School Association conference, and he was giving part of the keynote, and just his energy and the message around bullying, and it just fit with what we were trying to create in my school. And once I had Tom and Rick in to present, and they killed it. I mean, the kids were just mobbing them after the presentations, and wanting to. It just made such an impact. And then the staff started coming to me and saying, some of the staff that had been there for 20 years said this was the best assembly we've ever had. And because the message impacts the adults as well as the kids. And one thing I knew about my staff was they were all struggling with challenges. They had kids, they had aging parents, they had different issues. We had staff that were struggling with their bills and struggling to make their rent payments. And so the message that they got from the presentation was that the hold on possibilities exist. And Rick's story helped them put their experience into perspective, that hey, yeah, it's hard right now, but it could be a lot worse. I could have had a lot more challenges. And then we had him back. And the fun part that I enjoyed, it was kind of pushing Tom a little bit, in that their presentation is the 7th and 8th grader presentation. It's the same presentation, so if you have them back the next year, the kids have already seen it. So I had to say to him, hey, we want to have you back, but you need to, what can we do a little bit different for my 8th graders next year?
Yeah. Wow.
And that they evolved. They came up with some new things, and we had a system where the 6th grade got a certain presentation, the 7th grade got one, and then 8th grade it was a little different, focusing on leadership and empathy, and it was great, and it really made a difference for our kids.
And Tom's come up with so many acronyms since. I mean, you just mentioned HOPE.
Yeah.
HOPE, hold on, possibilities exist. That's probably one of the biggest ones that you guys hang your hat on.
Yeah, and really it's in everything we do, whether it's the 13 Pillows book, the Boredom School book, Rick's book, A Bridge Named Amos, the presentations, the Brave program, the STEP program. That's part of all of that is how do we instill hope in other people? And because if you have hope, you can get through anything.
Yeah. Last night, I'm sitting here, I'm listening to you, and like I hope so many others are, and having their own takeaways from your words. But I'm sitting here and I'm thinking about last night, sitting on the couch, and got a really important text message from my surgeon, who's getting ready to put a new shoulder in tomorrow. And just as I get this text message, literally the second that I got it, I glance at my phone, and of course, it takes a half a second to react to something like that. Whoa, there's the red flag. Hang on. Important. Stop everything. Important message from the doctor. But just at that same exact second, my little girl was standing right in front of me and was trying to tell me something and show me something. And it wasn't easy.
Yeah.
But I had to quickly make a decision, a conscious and intentional decision. in a split second to look away from that phone, not only to look away from it, but to flip it upside down and set it down on the couch next to me, and then take my hands and put them on my lap and lock eyes with her and give her 100% of my undistracted attention. It's not easy to do that, but man,
No.
you say behavior is communication.
Yep.
Is that an example of it right there?
Exactly. I mean, if you had picked up the phone, you're communicating to her that the phone is more important than she is.
Yeah.
So, and by doing that, you're communicating to her that she's the most important thing for you.
Yeah.
And that's when, to circle back to the pillow test, it's like, if that's what you're all about, if that's your core value and your core belief, then when you do that pillow test, I wish I had, I'm glad I did, ties
Yeah.
into that core belief.
Yeah.
You can put your head on the pillow last night and say, I'm glad I gave my daughter my full attention.
Yeah, exactly.
And that impacts you internally, because yes, I'm living into my values.
I notice that, our kids, when something like this is happening, they're watching you like a damn hawk.
Yep.
Brother Winton. I mean, they're looking at your eyes, looking right through the back of your head and making sure that you're paying attention to them, that you're not just looking at them, but that you are really locked in and listening to what it is that they are saying.
Mm-hmm.
And
they watch everything you do.
Absolutely. And, at one point I was like, I had that voice that turned on in my head for just a second that said, oh my God, I wonder if everything's all right with my surgeon. What's he telling me? Bah, 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 bah. Is he postponing the surgery? But
Yep.
but here's the thing, man. It's like, and then I said to myself, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It just doesn't.
Yep.
You talk about, with Sweethearts and Heroes, about moments that we go through in our lives, experiences that we have that are teachable. And there are so many. And I go back to my good friend Guy Babb, who passed away from cancer. And literally, as he was just days away from slipping away from us, said to me, just remember this with your daughter, who Lily was very, very young at that point, said to me, everything is an opportunity. Everything is a teachable moment with your kid. Good, bad, ugly, no matter what happens, it's a teachable moment.
Yeah. And because everything we do is an opportunity to live into that caring culture that we want to create around us. And so, the times that you are focused on Lily, that's showing her, that's a teachable moment, because it's showing her how to be present for people. If you're driving your car and you're trying to check your phone, you're teaching her that that's okay to do when she gets her license. And that the other part is the conversations, like you used the example of the checkout person was rude or something, and that's a teachable moment to have that conversation, to say, yeah, she wasn't nice, but she's probably struggling with some really heavy stuff right now, and that's all that she could give us. And when somebody is doing something unkind or bullying or talking about somebody inappropriately, those are teachable moments that need to be addressed at that time as well, to
Yeah.
say no, that's not appropriate, that's not how we talk about people, that's not what we do. And that person has deserves the dignity that, because they're human.
Yeah. I've heard you say that connection is more important than content.
Mhm.
What do you mean by that when?
Everybody wants to feeling of belonging, a sense of connection with others. And you know, you get into kind of Maslow's hierarchy of needs,
Oh, yeah.
and that if you want to build, if we're looking to build people that have strong sense of self and self-actualization and morality and creativity and spontaneity, they need that sense of belonging. And especially in today's world, you know, when I started teaching, we still use the Encyclopedia Britannica. We still had kids look stuff up in the encyclopedia because we didn't have the internet. We barely got. I was 10 years into my teaching career when I got my first computer in my classroom. So a lot has changed over the course of my career with regard to the content. Where when I started, I was much more the curator of the content for my students because I had the resources that contain that content. Now that's changed. Kids can look up anything. And really what the important part is all about is relationships. Students aren't going to learn from a teacher that they feel doesn't care about them. So it's building that connection and building that relationship. And students can go find the content. You want to know the 5 causes of the Civil War? You can do that in 30 seconds on Google.
Yeah.
And AI can write your paper for you. So, you know, it's not about the content anymore.
And you're saying that to a guy, and I know that Leon could relate to this as well. You're saying that to a guy who has spent his whole career in the last 30 plus years of believing wholeheartedly that content is king.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but damn it, man, you're spot on right that connection wins over.
Yeah, and in the day of AI and everything else,
Yeah.
I mean, even from a journalistic perspective, connection is what gets you content, right? It's who you know and the relationships you have with your sources that are going to get you the truth or the accuracy of the story about what happened. Because there's so many ways that can be distorted if you're just looking online.
Yeah.
And so those connections become more important. But it's really, you know, if there's somebody that you don't value or you don't respect and they're trying to give you information and a lesson, you're not as focused on that content. You don't find that content, you know, you're not in as present. You're more likely to want to pick up that phone and
Yeah.
check that text message, you know. But if it's somebody that you're connected with, that you're like, yeah, this person really has it going on and understands things, and you value them
Yeah.
because you've got that personal connection with them, that's you pay attention to, you're hanging on every word they say.
Yeah. So true, man. Shout out to Wells River Chevrolet. Shout out to Cody Chevrolet and all of the Chevy dealers that have backed you guys up and supported the mission, the goals of Sweethearts and Heroes.
Yeah, we can't say enough about the impact that their support has had in the schools that we've been able to get to this year, and we still have a couple coming up. We're going to be in Wells River coming up on March 16th and 17th at Oxbow High School, um, and it, we wouldn't have been able to have that impact without their support. So we greatly appreciate it.
The folks that we have had on over the last couple of months, every Wednesday from Sweethearts and Heroes, and it's not just, I mean, I could say Brian, I could say Loudon, I could say you, Tom, Rick, all of you, but man, it's like, look at Eric Bizzetto, the PE teacher at JFK Elementary in Brewster, New York. What a powerhouse that guy is. And Melissa Fisher. To be able to branch outside of the immediate team of Sweethearts and Heroes and get the folks who can give real testimony of what you guys have done in their schools is so amazing.
Yeah, and it's that's it's so incredible for us, but that's really our goal. Like if we don't want to be the people that have to go back to a school every year to present.
Yeah.
Our goal is to empower the students and the staff in the school.
Give them the tools.
With the tools, with the perspective to take it and run with it. And so when, the folks that are doing that, like Eric and Melissa, it's just incredible what they can now do for their school.
Yeah.
Because they're now able to do that every day. Whereas, we go in for a day here or there. And that just makes a huge difference.
I'm told Chris Neville is going to be with me.
Awesome.
Tell me about him.
He's at an elementary school in Vermont, and we were there last year, and he brought us in. He's connected with Tom, and so he's familiar with the message and said, this is what my school needs. And we had the opportunity with the Chevy sponsorship last year to go present at his school, and he's continued that work moving forward too. So
Brookside Primary School, and I look forward to having him on the air next Wednesday so much. Man, you guys are, all of you, every single one of you is incredible with what you bring, what you do for our community, what you do for our students, our young, impressionable minds and hearts, giving them tools to go far, far, far beyond the classroom, man. Absolutely adore every single one of you, and I am so blessed to be working with you every Wednesday. Winton Buddington from Sweethearts and Heroes, thank you, my man, so much.
Thank you, JD. And just if anybody's interested in the 13 Pillows book, our website is sweetheartsandheroes.com. They can check it out there. I think it's also on Amazon too, but I appreciate the time with you today and the opportunity to have our conversation. It was great.
Always, buddy. Listen, get back to the sunshine there. You're what, Hilton Head, South Carolina?
Hilton Head. Yep.
Amazing. Stay well, bud.
Hey, you too. Take care.
Big love to you. That's Winton Buddington right there from Sweethearts and Heroes. Sweetheartsandheroes.com. Check them out every single Wednesday. We devote our airwaves here to give you positive podcasting, the profound messages, and the goodness that they bring to so many people. Sweethearts and Heroes. So blessed to be connected with them here at the Aired Out Podcast.